Welcome to the Ike Taylor Show on the Air Network. Every week here, John Harris with Ike Taylor, two-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, now a member of the NFL Network. Ike, how you doing?
John, man, it's football season. Training camp has approached. Rookies have entered the building. Vets coming a day or two later. 2016 have came so fast. It's about football time, so let's talk football, John.
Let's talk football. Training camp for the Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers, your old team. Camp opens tomorrow in Latrobe, St. Vincent College. A lot of storylines there. A couple of huge storylines, starting with one of your former teammates, Le'Veon Bell. Right now, looks like there's going to be a 4-game suspension for not failing a drug test, not taking a drug test. It doesn't look good right now. See whether or not he's going to appeal it. But let's look at it from both ends of it. What happens if this suspension is going to go through with it? What's going to be like for the Steelers to not have this running back for the first 4 games?
Man, it takes the dynamic out the offense, John. It takes the extra weapon out the offense. You already lost Martavis Bryant out that offense. Martavis Bryant is your deep play guy. He's your tall guy who's 6 and some change, 215 pounds, but have quickness like an Antonio Brown. He's your guy when you got a game plan and be a defensive coordinator. You got to know where Martavis Bryant is all the time. So it opens a lot for that offense. Antonio Brown, pound for pound, at 5'10" and some change, is arguably the best receiver in the game. Cool. We all know that. But missing Martavis is going to hurt a little unless Marcus Wheaton or Sammy Coates step up tremendously or even be the guy Martavis Bryant was in 2 people. Le'Veon Bell, on the other hand, is just a one-of-a-kind kind of running back. You know what I'm saying? I look at Martavis Bryant as a more upgraded version of an Arian Foster in his prime. He hits you with the dead leg. Dead leg meaning you think he's going one way, he go the opposite way. He comes out the backfield. He catches balls. So Le'Veon Bell, arguably all around, is probably your best running back. From yards from the line of scrimmage at the running back position, since Le'Veon stepped into the NFL, he's number 1, yards from the line of scrimmage, which says a lot. So, again, when he's healthy, he's hell. The only knock is right now making them crazy off-season decisions or making them crazy in-season decisions, not on the field, but off the field. So Le'Veon got to understand, like, not only I'm hurting myself, but I'm hurting my team because I see how valuable I am to the team when I'm on the field. And when I'm off the field, yeah, we do have another number 1 running back in D'Angelo Williams, but he's not a Le'Veon Bell. So Le'Veon got to understand, 1, this game waits for nobody, regardless on what age you are. And 2, me being a former Pittsburgh Steeler, I don't want to see Le'Veon mess up his money because I think Le'Veon could be one of the highest paid running backs in the game. So why defer or mess that up over bonehead decisions is how I look at it. So hopefully he's facing violation, meaning it's not official. So if he comes back the first game of the year, it's going to be over. If he got to sit out another 4, here's my thing going to Le'Veon sitting out another 4. Okay. For the past couple of years, he's been hurt, right? Trying to reach 16 games, meaning trying to be healthy for the 16 games, right?
Right.
He sat out 2 games last year, right?
He missed the first 2, right.
I'm looking at it from the flip side of him sitting out. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, but you still have D'Angelo. You're still working in Sammy Coates and Marcus Wheaton. Antonio Brown is on the other side. You know, he's hell. Then you just pick up Ladarius Green, your tight end, quietly. We ain't even talking about him, but we're gonna be talking about him in a few minutes because he's going to see how potent this offense is, and you're going to see how potent he is in this offense, Darius Green. So I'm looking at it. You know what? If I can get Le'Veon to January, and if he sits out these 4 games, if they really do suspend him these 4 games, but them 4 games actually wind up helping us out, and he's going to stay healthy for the next 12 games leading up into the postseason, I'll deal with that. Because we all know when Le'Veon Bell, or if Le'Veon Bell can get to January football, John, it's a wrap. So, yeah, we're going to look at it from a negative standpoint and saying all his bonehead decisions. But from my standpoint, I'm like, you know what? If it's going to limit his plays, meaning if it's going to limit his contact, if it's going to limit guys really trying to hit or hurt Le'Veon and get him out the game for 4 games, and he just got to play 12 to help him get to the postseason, I'm going to deal with that this year.
I'm concerned. You know me. That's your former teammate and your boy, and I understand that. It's just this unsettling pattern here that we keep seeing. You know, he didn't. It's not. This is not an issue of failing a drug test. This is a quibbling, quandary over was he properly notified or not notified, or got his cell phone changed, and these are warning signs. And between the injuries and now these warning signs, we're going to start another year of unsettling with him, and I'm concerned about that. And I know he went on social media earlier this offseason and talked about he wants $15 million a year as a running back, when running backs don't get that, and now you compound the other issues, and I'm concerned. I know, I love your optimism, and we're going to see what happens with that. But if he misses those first 4 games, and you don't have Martavius Bryant, and opposing defenses are really cracking down on Antonio Brown, it could be a little bit more difficult than what everybody thought, at least to start this season.
Yeah, it could be more difficult, but the thing is, that's why I was saying he's facing, meaning they didn't charge him so far.
Right.
Meaning I've been through that situation, John. I didn't had guys call me from numbers I might not know, man. You might get called from an unknown number.
Oh, is that right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, like if you get called from an unknown number, like I'm not gonna answer because you just get tired of answering unknown numbers. So if you change your phone, then it's a whole other story. Like I don't even know that number. I don't even know that person calling me. Like that person could be playing with me, man. If that person got to text me, he could be playing with me. It's a lot of scenarios when you want to talk about this phone.
But don't you need to let them know that you changed the number? This is pretty important.
Yeah, you need, right? You should let them know. But if you have a lot of things going on, like a Le'Veon, then it's kind of hard. If you miss the call and workouts, like if I'm working out for 2 hours and they call me or they text me and I miss their call and they say they in an area, it's like, dang, I have my phone sitting aside for them couple of hours. Man, look, y'all might be facing it now. Yeah, I'm in the program, but I was working out. Like I don't want to have my phone on when I'm working out. I can have somebody shoot me doing the video and tell them send me that video after workouts. But while I'm working out, You done been down to Orlando. Like, when we working out, John. Like, nobody got time to be playing on the phone, man. Guys trying to get better and they trying to get it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of scenarios when it come down to that phone, if you know what I'm saying. That's why I say Le'Veon is facing, like, he hasn't been charged with it. That's why I'm not getting excited about talking about it, but we can talk about it. I'm more excited about talking about Antonio Brown's contract situation. That's what I'm more excited to talk about.
One more thing before we move on. I got one stat for you about the value of Le'Veon Bell to the Steelers, who are, when he's played, 22-13. So I'll just leave it at that. Is the man valuable to the team? Yes. Now we can move on to Antonio Brown and the issue of he's not said a word now. This has not come from Le'Veon Bell. I mean, from Antonio Brown. This has not come from his agent. This is the media sources, stories that he's reporting out of the goodness of his heart, but he kind of expects something to get done contractually. I'll turn it over to you.
Well, there's smoke, there's fire.
so, it's burning up.
Yeah, so we can say what we want to say. His agent ain't got a report. Antonio Brown know how the Steelers work. Like, come to camp, handle your business, come and shake, show all them pretty white teeth you got, handle your business at camp, and be low key and cool. We're gonna talk about it. Antonio makes $6 million this year.
Right.
Arguably the number one receiver in the league.
Right.
Makes $6 million this year. So I know Pittsburgh usually don't do this, and they only would do this for a quarterback such as a Ben Roethlisberger with 2 years remaining on your contract. But pay the man. And that's how I'm looking at it, John. You got to pay the man. Here's why you pay the man. For one, he give you every fighting chance, every down on the field, beating not single, but double coverages. Going into the game from a defensive coordinator standpoint, what is the opposing defense trying to do when it comes down to passing? Stop who?
Antonio Brown.
How many yards did Antonio Brown have last year?
Almost 2,000, right?
Had 1,800 yards last year.
Yeah, almost got 2,000. He was on the verge.
He was on the cusp of getting 2,000.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying about Antonio Brown. How many games have Antonio Brown missed? Maybe one, two max from injury. Antonio Brown as a starter, not only he's a double threat, he's a triple threat. For his size, he plays big. He's the most elusive receiver in the game. Even though a guy may be on him or may be close to him, he still comes down with the ball. You give him a now pass. A now pass meaning if the defensive guys fall off on him, I'm going to change the play like a Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm going to throw Antonio Brown this now pass right now. What Antonio Brown going to do? He going to make one guy miss, two, get up the field. Now he has a chance to score. Antonio Brown not only is a deep threat, he's a right now threat. Meaning if I'm a defender and I'm far enough off Antonio Brown and Big Ben sees a coverage that he likes, he's gonna throw it to Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown gonna make a play. Now that's just offense. We ain't even talking about being a Pro Bowl punt returner. He's already a Pro Bowl all-time receiver. Let's talk about being a punt returner. I don't want to put Antonio Brown as a punt returner because he's real valuable as a receiver. But you know what? When the game is on the line, John, who do you see back there at the punt return?
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. See, this is what I'm saying. Not only he's a Pro Bowl punt returner, he's a Pro Bowl receiver. So, yeah, I know in some situations, which is a very rare situation, you pay a guy 2 years in advance for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's Ben Roethlisberger. And you see why you need to pay Ben Roethlisberger, because when he's on the field, the offense is totally different. It's plus, 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 plus. Antonio Brown in that situation is the same thing. He leads the league in receptions over the past 3.5, 4 years. He's unbelievable when it comes to touchdowns. In crucial situations. Your red zones, your third downs, your punt return situations, everybody calling on Antonio Brown. Now, this is how I look at it. All-pro receiver, Julio Jones. All-pro receiver, A.J. Green. All-pro receiver, what's my guy from New York?
Your
my guy
LSU?
from New Orleans. Yeah,
LSU receiver.
Beckham,
Uh,
all pro
Odell
receiver.
Beckham Jr.
Odell Beckham Jr. Like, and I'm sure Odell can do it. So with the exception of Odell, these guys don't play punt return. Your Julio Jones don't play punt return. He's an all pro receiver, Pro Bowl receiver. Your AJ Green don't play punt return. He's an all pro receiver, Pro Bowl
Right.
receiver. Antonio Brown is an all pro, Pro Bowl receiver, let alone an all pro, Pro Bowl returner if you want him to be a returner every game. So basically, I'm putting Antonio Brown in the situational part of the game. Antonio Brown, I need you. You know what? All right, I'm about to come as a punt returner. So that's the value I'm looking at when I'm like, man, you know what? This guy right here don't come around too often. And this guy meaning Antonio Brown.
Well, last year, just to be accurate here, played all 16 games, started 136 receptions, 1,834 yards, 13.5 yard average with 10 touchdowns. So, yeah, he's kind of important.
There ain't no kind of he is important, John. Ain't no kind of in that. He is important. Like he to this new generation, he's one of the pioneers to the offense.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, and now here's the other point I think that we want to mention. We opened the Ike Taylor show on the Air Network, talking about Le'Veon Bell. Now, given the fact of what's going on with him off the field as well as on the field, does this open the door for the Steelers maybe to kind of make a choice here? Okay, maybe we were going to do something with Le'Veon, but we're clearly not going to do anything now contractually. Do we take care? Do we almost kill two birds with one stone here? Do we take care of Antonio Brown, make him happy, and then I guess if worse comes to worse, next year we franchise Le'Veon if we have to. We don't want to, but we'll deal with that down the line. But we can deal with Antonio Brown now before his price goes even higher.
It makes sense to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like right now, if Le'Veon, if he gets that violation, if they suspend him for 4 games, I might as well go out on and sign Antonio Brown. The thing is, Pittsburgh has the power right now with both guys.
Right.
They got Antonio Brown for 2 years. Le'Veon facing 4 game suspension. Last year he did 2. Can't stay healthy for the majority part of the whole season. So it's like whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
Pittsburgh they got the power in their hand and they don't rush to do anything. No. But for good faith, just for a guy who hasn't been causing trouble in the media, you got to give Antonio Brown a look and try to sign him. You got to. So he got 2 years left. You can go ahead and give him a 3-year extension, make that 5, and Antonio Brown retire as a Pittsburgh Steelers. Because Antonio Brown got 5 good years left in him. And hopefully Martavis Bryant get his mind right and he come back next year and then you got him for the dirt. You got him for the free. Just about. And if he can at least be semi to what he was last year, it's a wrap. And then you get a Le'Veon who's going to be hungry for the money. This is what I do know about guys who in contract situations and contract years. They go all out. I'm talking about workouts. I'm talking about mentally focused. I'm talking about the whole 9 because I did it. Now, I did it every year, but when that money time came, man, it's like some switch in your head just clicked every cylinder in your body to make sure you put yourself in a position to get that money. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, John, but that's just how it is. So, AB, man, meaning Antonio Brown, if you just watch his Instagram, the way he worked, if I got a chance to talk to Vaughn with Dancing with the Stars when him and Antonio Brown was on there. Uh-huh. He said AB is a freak of nature, man. Like this dude get up early in the morning and go work out before he come to Dancing with the Stars. Like I don't know how he do it. And I'm looking at Vaughn like, Man, that's what I did, and that's what Antonio Brown was doing when he wasn't starting. Like
Yeah.
that's just in him.
Yeah.
So when you got a guy who's a superstar in the league but works harder than anybody on your team, I'm looking at it like, yeah, man, I know we try to sign nobody other than a quarterback with 2 years left, but let's at least look and talk about Antonio Brown with these 2 years left. Let's go ahead and get a man a 3-year extension and make him happy and make him retire as a Pittsburgh Steeler. That's how I look at it. It's a few exceptions to a few guys, and this don't come around too often, meaning this Antonio Brown situation.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to sign another receiver in the next couple of years with 2 years left. Like Antonio Brown is an exception. He's a Les Swan, he's a John Stallworth exception. So give the guy a look at, talk about it, and if it makes sense situationally, do it.
Let's close out this podcast this week of the Ike Taylor Show. Let's talk about a former teammate of yours. I think one of the great stories in the NFL and in college football, Charles Peanut Tillman. You guys were teammates in Louisiana Lafayette. I contend the best, maybe secondary ever in college football for 1 year at Louisiana Lafayette. One side, Ike Taylor. The other side, Charles Peanut Tillman. He just retired recently after a long career with the Chicago Bears and 1 year with Carolina. You guys played a total of 25 seasons. You went to 3 Super Bowls. He went to 2. You won 2. That's 5 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl championships. He went to 2 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro recognition. That record right there, I challenge anyone to find a secondary in college football for 1 year that more talented, more accomplished than Ike Taylor on one side and Charles Tillman on the other.
Yeah, Charles Tillman, a.k.a. Peanut, man, he just about led the league in fumbles, forced fumbles.
Right.
I ain't going to say just about. Over his career span, he led the league in forced fumbles.
Yeah.
Nobody outworks Charles Tillman. Nobody from a neck up, meaning having the intelligence, I would say, other than the Shea Townsend, is brighter than Charles Tillman. Charles Tillman going to Carolina, I really wanted Charles to get a Super Bowl. I really wanted him to see how that confetti felt coming down on your head. Being a Super Bowl champion. Now, Pro Bowl wise, I think Peanut made it twice.
2 times, and an All-Pro selection 1 time.
So that's something I never did. But that's something Peanut did. I wound up getting the rings. He wound up making the Pro Bowl. 2 young guys from Louisiana Lafayette. I don't know what our ranking was as a defense, passing defense. We was top 5. I know passing defense in college, which says a lot. Because first of all, we was one of the biggest secondaries between I, myself, Charles Tillman, Brian Deemer, and Carice Hebert. I was the shortest out the 3. The shortest out the 3. So that's letting you know how big our secondary was.
And you're what? 6'2"? 6'1",
yes.
6'2".
Charles Tillman, on the other hand, just a special dude, man. I mean, it's usually guys who have high motors. We'll talk about a DN. We'll talk about an outside linebacker with high motor. This dude, Charles Tillman, had a high motor at the cornerback position. And if he really wanted to, if he didn't want to call it quits this year, he could have played safety. He could have easily played safety. But you know what? This was letting you know how people, the networks, the media, feel about certain players. Charles Tillman has a job with Fox. He's going to be analyzing with the greats on the Fox channel, on the Fox panel. Ike Taylor snuck in the door, and he's analyzing now with Michael Irvin. Hopefully he can do something with Prime and Marshall Fall and LT. But we get them opportunities, and that's rare. So not only you have a tandem secondary in college, you got two guys who have pretty decent professional careers that people at networks and social media would like to see, would like to hear what they got to say. Understand I know how to talk to people. Understand I'm going to be humble and respectable. Understand I don't mind coming from the bottom and trying to work my way to the top, regardless on what age I am. Same thing with Peanut Charles Tillman. He's the same way. A ball of fun. A humble guy. A guy who's very knowledgeable. So it says a lot, not only about me, but for Peanut to get hired that fast at a pretty good network, to talk about football, that says a lot. That says a whole lot. So I understood what he did as a football player. Would you put him in the Hall of Fame? Why not? Why not? You look at secondary guys over turnovers. That's what you want to say. So Charles Tillman, between his span at the cornerback position, he didn't cause more turnovers. I'm talking about forced fumbles and interceptions. I ain't even talking about just interceptions. He didn't cause more turnovers than most defensive linemen with the forced fumbles. Interceptions-wise, he right in the middle of the pack. So why wouldn't you put Charles Tillman in the Hall of Fame? That's how I look at it. But just one heck of a guy, it don't get better than Peanut, man.
And I'll tell you what, it doesn't get much better than the Ike Taylor Show. This podcast is going to blow up. We could talk forever. We're just giving you a sampling of what it's going to be, coming up this fall on the Air Network. You can hear the complete show, the Ike Taylor Show, the podcast on the Air Network Wednesdays this fall at 8 p.m. Ike, this was a great show tonight. Just a sampling of what we're going to be able to do this year. I'm excited about it. You sound excited about it. Let's go to work.
John, you know already, man. It's football season, man. You know I'm over here smiling. Can't wait to talk every Wednesday, man. Make sure y'all tune in to the Ike Taylor podcast. Catch us every Wednesday, hopefully 8 o'clock. What they catch us on? What network they going to catch us on?
The Air Network.
The Air Network, man. If you ain't got nothing to do, man, just come on the Air Network, man. Me and John Harris going to be on here talking football, whatever y'all want to talk about. I'm telling you, the podcast is the podcast to be. Don't miss it. It's going to air all day, every day. After Wednesday, 8 p.m., going to be live in a few. Just stay tuned. I'm going to retweet, post this. Thanks for listening to this short little demo of what we're going to give y'all for the 2016 season. Stay tuned.